Alright, Schlockmeister fans, it's Christopher Walken. It's the Mind Snatchers. Meet Private James Reese, Christopher Walken. He's a bit of a hothead.
Sometimes I wish I understood you, Reese.
So I believe he's in the army and they've come to take him. They know he's a hothead and they've got other plans for him.
He must be in a great deal of pain.
Oh, no, sir. I don't believe in pain.
They basically want to get him to sign himself into some facility.
Sign.
He doesn't have a lot of options to stay out of trouble.
I'd like to investigate him further, if I might.
Certainly.
I think you found an excellent candidate in this Reese fella. He's been a constant offender, quite obviously sociopathic.
So this is a doctor who has some plans. So he's taken to this facility. It basically looks like a big mansion or something. It's more or less a hospital. He's got a couple of roommates, including Ronnie Cox, who plays Sergeant Miles.
Well, ain't time yet. Hell, he ain't due for another joke. Find out now.
What is it you want, Reese?
Here's the doctor,
Am I dying? You're broken arm. No, I know that.
Dr. Frederick.
No, you're not.
And why am I here? Yeah, why is he here? That's nice, son of a bitch.
And what kind of a private room?
So Reese wanders around a bit and sees that they're experimenting on monkeys there. Little does he know that they're also experimenting on humans. When he wanders outside, he finds that there's guard dogs and barbed wire surrounding the place.
That's a dog.
Looks kind of like Shannon, doesn't it? Hey, easy.
Has he acted any differently since they worked on his head?
Can't say that I know. It seems to hurt about as bad as ever.
Did Frederick say anything more about what he'd done to him? I said again.
They get some news about one of the roommates.
You said what?
Yes, I did. Rhodes died on the operating table 10 minutes ago.
They have some happy pills for him, too.
Why are you doing this?
Because I hate to see somebody eating his guts out the way you've been doing. Brings me down, you know?
But Reese is still a hothead, and so is Miles. And our nurse gets attacked. But Miles isn't right, and later they see him, like, coughing up blood.
How long?
With extensive surgical care, proper application of certain drugs, maybe half a year.
Yeah, well, if you just sat back and didn't mess with me, how long?
Well, what can I say?
Quarterly.
There's an alternative. I'm engaged in a project of some significance. You could help if you like. This is a piece of 31 gauge Teflon stainless steel wire. I want to put it in your brain.
So they drill into his head.
Oh, you've known about it all along. Why else you been so shit-eyed scared?
I'm perfectly happy they can't take
They ain't gonna take you, you jerk. You're gonna volunteer.
So he's got this thing wired into his head, which is attached to this device. He presses a button.
Shall I push it again? You know.
So he pushes it again.
Feels nice.
What does it each, Miles?
Pretty soon he can't stop pressing it. It's almost like a drug. Eventually, they get the upper hand on Reese, though.
He's like, right here. He can take me apart just because of you, you filthy, lousy prick. It's just a bar of soap, Chief.
You're going to have to listen to me, Doctor.
After Miles.
When our official friends learn about this fiasco, they'll slice us to ribbons to save their asses. And the rest of the world is just looking for a story about the evils of modern technology. So they'll feed us to it. This colonel in the history of the United States Army with more brains than bullshit. All right, Doctor, now how do we measure Reese? From what you say right now, he's not even any good to himself. But by tomorrow, he could be the biggest breakthrough ever achieved in the treatment of mental illness. You're serious?
Then a volunteer is preferable to a conscript.
Well, I'll tell you what, Doctor. As soon as you get the bugs worked out, I'll be the first in line.
You bastard.
He's already signed the
Volunteers
papers.
to work with. So I gave the general order that all patients admitted to the hospital with mentally disturbed backgrounds were to be given the necessary forms to fill out for release.
A mile away.
You're gonna take this thing out of my head? You gotta be out of your mind, you know. You can't change me. You wouldn't know where to begin. I am James H. Reese. And you know what else I am? I am unique.
He basically dares them to push the button.
All right, the debate is over. If you won't do it, I will. Well, why don't you meet Corporal Reese for yourself?
So now they're going to offer him up to the press as a success.
Tell him how you feel, Corporal.
I feel fine. Just fine.
All right, we got a view from the couch tonight. This movie, Mind Snatchers. This was found in the horror section of a grocery store video shelf or video aisle area from Red Owl grocery store, Two Rivers, Wisconsin. Probably around 1986 or so is when I got this. It was on the shelf next to like Don't Go in the Woods and The Forest. And Ben I got from there as well. They had a pretty good horror section. They had one called She Waits. But anyway, so I never actually watched this movie when I first taped it. I didn't watch this till years later, and I just thought it was kind of an odd film and not really a horror film. Don't really know how to describe this film, to be honest with you. It's about Christopher Walken, a very early movie role for him, starring role really, basically. And he's a army soldier, but he's a hothead. He gets arrested, and they decide, you know, we got this doctor who's doing this experimentation stuff. Let's basically give him an ultimatum. You know, you're either going to arrest, you're going to go down, or you can sign your name away and we can bring you to this place. So, of course, he decides to do that. There's a couple others, I guess they're soldiers there, too, that they're operating on. Basically, this doctor is working on, I don't want to say mind control, but it kind of is, I guess. Basically trying to, I guess, control people. And this is a perfect example because he's a hothead. He gets into fights, that sort of thing. So they want to basically temper him, calm him down a bit. The rest of the movie is basically that. He experiments on this other guy first, Sergeant Miles, who's played by Ronnie Cox. And then he basically implants, it looks like the end of a wire hanger into his brain. And then it's attached to this like remote control thing. And when you buzz it, it just kind of like shocks them a little bit. It almost seems like a drug at some sort. I don't really know exactly what it was doing to Ronnie Cox, but eventually they get one of these things hooked up to Reese as well, and he kind of basically dares them to press the button, and this army sergeant, corporal, whatever, decides to do it. He collapses, and then the last scene in the movie, they kind of parade him in front of the press as a success story to, you know, we've basically calmed this man down, and of course, anytime he answers a question, he's got to press the button to, I guess, make himself talk, make himself calm. I don't know exactly what, but it was kind of just a creepy type of ending, just kind of a scary thing, like this is could be real, you know. So it's a psychological horror, maybe you could call it that. I don't know, but anyway, that is it. The Mind Snatchers, which apparently the New York Times said was daring and brilliant. This was actually a play. It was called The Happiness Cage. It was a play that they made into a movie, and this is it. So anyway, I don't got a whole lot more I can tell you about this one. I actually have that pre-recorded VHS of the movie. It was put out by Prism. It's one of those big clamshell boxes back in the day. And this DVD was put out by Image Entertainment. I've had this DVD probably at least 20 years. Never actually watched the DVD until today. So glad I've seen this again. I had this movie on a beta tape, actually. Again, I've probably seen this movie maybe 3 times in my life. But I always just kind of remembered that last scene in the movie with him standing up in front of the press, and he was just kind of mesmerized. But anyway, that's it. It's the Mind Snatchers. I don't know how rare this DVD is. Probably not too rare, but I'd be willing to bet this movie is also streaming, perhaps on YouTube. I don't know. You can check it out. But anyway, it's kind of an interesting little film. Not boring. 92 minutes. Moves along pretty smoothly. No nudity. Rated PG, probably, I think. Yeah, PG. Yeah, decent little film. Check it out. Leave some comments and what you think about it. The Mind Snatchers. Watch it. Bye.